This video is a question and answer video, a Q&A. I have received over the last few months, 11 months, a series of questions which I've tried to answer at least briefly, immediately, or within a day or two after they were asked. But some of them need a little more complete answer, and other people who watch my videos may not have ever seen the question. So I thought, why don't I compile all those questions and I'll answer them all, even though they've already answered them, so everybody who wants to hear the answers can. Today is November the 4th, 2016. At the end of the Q&A, I'm going to provide some dated information about what's coming up over the next few months. So if you're watching this video within the November time frame, November-December time frame of 2016, you might want to go ahead and watch that dated information at the end. If you're watching this video years later, whenever, the dated information won't be worth anything to you, I don't think, so you can probably skip it. Let's get on to the questions. All right. One person asked about reading music and playing the piano at the same time. You see, some of us aren't so good at multitasking, reading and playing all at the same time, and it's not all that easy to do for a lot of people. I remember when I first started, it was a challenge for me to do that. I was a little kid at the time and I enjoyed it. It was like, okay, bring it on. Not so much when you get older. The person said he has to read the few notes and then look down at the keyboard and play them, blah, 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 blah. Look up and see the more notes and then play them. And basically he has to memorize the piece in order to play it. How can he get out of that? And I told him, you have to force yourself. Discipline, self-discipline. Ugh. We use a lot of self-discipline in music. You gotta force yourself to look at the music on the music rack, not the keyboard, and play without looking at the fingers. Now, when you start in a level 1 method book, you're in a 5-finger position anyway. The hands aren't moving around. And once you get your hand in that position, you have to just force yourself to play and not look at the keys. It will feel awkward at first, fine. But keep doing it, it gets better. Really, it does. Now, if you have a piece memorized, you have a choice. You can stare off into La La Land. You can close your eyes, which is actually very effective. If you really want to hear what you're doing, close your eyes while you're playing. Or you can occasionally look at your hands, but don't look at your hands all the time, all right? Try not to. Another person asked, trying to decide which book to use. I don't have a lot of money. So do you compare the books? Do you have a favorite? What would you recommend? Blah, blah, blah. You know how it is. I think you're getting the idea. Some books assume you have a teacher. Others don't. Does it make a difference? What do you do? When I did these videos, and I'm going to do a lot more of this next year, I made it a point not to compare the books or judge the books. I'm only presenting the information in the books. All of the books I've covered so far have good points about them. All of them have not so good points about them. I told the individual that if you look at the views on my channel, there are more people watching the Alfred Level 1 book series than all the other books combined. That is by far the most popular. It doesn't make it the best. I like almost all of them I've presented. Not quite, but almost all of them. There's some really good points. And if you can't afford it, I would recommend going through 2, possibly at the same time. They kind of go in parallel, a lot of them. So it doesn't hurt to go through 2 books at the same time. Take it slow and easy. You get more music that way. The books will present things in a slightly different order, but that's okay. You got to know it anyway. As far as whether the book assumes you have a teacher or not, I haven't found a lot of difference in these books on those who assume you have a teacher and those who are like self-taught things. I'm doing these videos. You're welcome to watch them and listen to what I have to say about them. And if you read, you can understand what they're saying as far as the theory and technique and all that junk. And there's plenty of other videos on YouTube that cover how to read music, how to read rhythms, how to play the piano, sort of. I find most of them lacking, frankly, but there's at least some ideas. And then there's always me, and you're welcome to ask. If you've run across something in a book you just don't understand, ask me and I'll see if I can't explain it to you. Do you give lessons? And if so, where? Do you teach online? I used to give lessons. I had 30-some students in all ages, all levels, from preschool to adult and beginners to advanced students. And it got to the point where it was drudgery for me. I didn't enjoy it at all. So I quit teaching. I just got out of it. I said, forget it. Not interested. Not going to go through this again. Not going to have one person after another coming in and going out, coming in and going out. So it was like an assembly line after a while. I did not enjoy it. Class lessons aren't so bad, but I don't have a class. I am a member of the local piano club, and they do have class lessons. I might someday be asked to teach. One of the people did approach me about the possibility, but they have 3 teachers. That's all they need. So they don't need any more teachers, but maybe someday in the future I'll teach locally. So no, I don't teach, and I don't teach online. There are people who do teach online, but you can Google who those people are. Another person asked, could you play When I See the Blood? And I replied, yes, I'd be glad to, if you'll tell me what book it's in, but they never replied, I don't know what book it's in. If you have some piece that's in a supplemental book that you would like me to cover or something that you're concerned about, let me know and I'll get the book. I prefer to do the whole book if possible, and I got to do it in order because of the way YouTube orders things. It's not real friendly ordering things. I can't sort things on YouTube, videos or playlists or anything alphanumerically. So I have to do it in order and upload it chronologically in order to get it to show up in the right order. But yes, I will be happy to cover whatever piece you're looking for. Don't be in a hurry on it. If you need it by a date, you probably won't get it there, but I would get it eventually. Another person asked, I was looking for the orally tutorial, but could not find it. This is in one of the Alfred series books, I think. The point is, the orally, I didn't do a tutorial on it because it wasn't an actual piece of music written out. It was one of the supplemental technical study theory things where you improvise or something on it, and I didn't give a lesson on that. So no, she didn't find it because I didn't do it. I thought about doing every page in every book, but then I decided, no, I'm just going to do the actual music pieces themselves. If you have a question on any of these other pages, you're welcome to ask, and I will try and answer it. Another person, it's not a question, it says, I see a drum set in the background. Yes, you do. Probably not right now. It's sitting back over there. It's a trap set. It was my electronic keyboard I was going to buy myself for Christmas one year, and I got that instead. And I intend to learn to play it. I don't play it yet. I want a teacher. I know there's YouTube videos that'll do it and plenty of books, and I can read rhythms already, but I'd like a teacher to show me the technique and to watch me as I'm doing it to ensure I am doing the correct technique. I'm a big believer in technique. Do you know anything about websites like Yamaha Flow Key and Playground Sessions? And the answer is no, I don't. I did look and see what they were like. These are commercial sites. They want to sell you stuff, which is fine. I haven't tried your stuff. I don't know about it. If you tried, let me know how it is. Both of these things, Yamaha Flow Key and Playground Sessions, now have YouTube channels, and I believe I have links to those channels on my channel page. If you go look at my subscriptions or channels or something in there, you'll probably find links to their channels, YouTube channels. Since they are commercial, generally if they're providing you any kind of instruction information, they'll only give you some of it. They won't give you all of it. You have to pay something to get the rest of it. Now, I did notice the Flow Key vids on YouTube are mainly just performing. However, I think the person who's doing the performing is an excellent musician, is doing an excellent job on those. Can you do the Alfred Greatest Hits Level 1 book? Yes, I can. I most certainly can. This is one of the supplemental books to the Alfred series. I intend to do all the supplemental books to all the series eventually. Just takes me a while to get them up. But since you asked about this specific one, I did go ahead and get it. In fact, I got all 3 levels. So over this next year, I will be uploading all the pieces in all 3 levels. level 1 first. So yes, that will be one of the first things I start working on over the next few days when I start recording again. I'll explain more about the recording, my recording pattern and upload pattern in the dated information at the end of the video. Do you think the theory books are worth the cost? Would you recommend them? That is a tough question because it really depends on you. Are they worth the cost to you? What do you want to get out of music? How far do you want to go? How much do you want to understand? I think you should understand all the symbols you see in the written music, and that's theory. You want to understand the chords and the arpeggios and all that stuff, that harmony, that's theory. That gets a little bit deeper. And if you're really interested in it, there's no harm in buying at least a level 1 theory that goes with your series and try it out and see if you like it or not. My Alfred level 2 book doesn't have all the pieces you cover. What's going on? Yeah, I think Alfred screwed up. I noticed on my level, well, on all the books actually, on the Alfred books, on the series, there is a note on the back cover, outside back cover, which indicates that this book has 7 additional songs, and it lists them. But when I look at the publishing date or the copyright date or any kind of identification on the book, it's identical to the books that do not have those songs, as near as I can tell. I can't tell any difference in the identification. I think this is wrong. I think it's an error. If they're going to publish a book like that and change something, they should change the identity. It should be a version 1 or something which indicates it's different. So yeah, I had 7 extra books I had 7 extra pieces than you may have. It's up to you whether you go get a book with the pieces or not. You can always just go on to the next level if you want, because all those pieces are at the end of the book. The same piece of music can be found in different books of the same series. Can you show this? Yes, I can show it, but I probably won't. And I did notice that, yes, there's some duplication of the pieces. Same arrangement, same piece, and I'm going over it again. Now, when I go over a piece, it's unscripted. I simply say what I think about at the time I'm saying it. So I may say different things on the same arrangement of the same piece just because it was a different day and I was thinking different. So I thought about putting in cross-references, because if you really want the whole story, yeah, you gotta go find the other video and watch it also. What's the difference between a bar and a measure? Spelling of the words, basically, there's no difference. And as far as piano goes, or music goes, a bar and a measure is the same thing. Why they have 2 different words, I don't know. I haven't looked it up and I really don't care. But you can say it's a bar, for 4 bars over. You can say it's a measure, go 4 measures over, or whatever. The line, the vertical line that separates measures or bars is called a bar line, or a measure line, either one, usually called a bar line. They're the same thing, so I wouldn't worry. If someone wants to say they're different, that's fine, you go ahead and say they're different. I don't care, but to me they're the same thing. Slurs and ties are confusing. Yes, they can be, because they look exactly alike. Let me see if I can confuse you a little more. I have a visual aid. It's not a real good one, because I don't do anything real good. Here, let's see if you can see this or not. Can you see this? Yeah. I've got 3 lines here. There's 4 quarter notes in each line. Take a look at the top line. There is a little curved line. Can I see that here? Between each pair of notes. Those are called ties. A tie is between 2 notes on the same pitch, the same note. I think in the videos when I talk about tie, I forgot to mention it's only 2 notes. You can only tie 2 notes together at a time. So in this case, I've got 4 notes. I want to tie them together. I have to put that little curved line between each pair of notes. So I would play the first note, and I would hold it down for 4 counts. In the second line, you got 4 quarter notes, but the curved line goes all the way across them. There's only 1 line. That is called a slur, okay? That means play them smooth or connected. You can't play anything in piano smooth. The instrument won't let you. It's not built for smooth. Smooth would be like a wind instrument where you can play multiple notes without tonguing them. You just kind of slur them all together. That's a slur. That's a slur. Oh. So in this case, I would have to play those 4 A's as connected as I can get them. And in piano, it helps if you have to do that to go ahead and use the pedals. And I don't have a camera on my feet right now, but the pedal will help, because when you lift the key up, the sound will stop. And they're not connected if the sound stops. So you put the pedal down, and they're connected. Of course, the pedal changes the sound and it whatever, but basically that's what it is. Okay. Now if I take the top line here and I add the notes like I did in red, it's 2 little notes. I didn't change the little curved lines at all. So I would play the first note, I would hold it down until I get to the B. I'd play the B, C, and then I would play the A again, and then hold it down to the end because it's tied. So it's that 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. See, so it's a tie with a slur and then a tie, because those notes are different pitches in the middle. Explain staccato types and legato. Can legato notes be played staccato? Is there a difference between a slur and a legato? Okay, I'll try. Legato is a slur. Legato is connected. If there's a bunch of notes without any curved line or anything, you're probably going to play in legato anyway. Alright, you're just going to play them. If I have the slurred line under it, like the second line here, then I'll probably play it, and because there's the same pitch, I'll put the pedal down. Of course, I just put it down just for the moment it takes me to play the note again. I don't hold it down through the whole thing. If I hold the pedal down for all 4 notes, it sounds like this. But if I only push the pedal down when I'm lifting up the key and pushing it down again, it's this. Which is a little better sound than the first one. Alright, so you have to be careful with what you do with the pedal and listen carefully to the sound you're producing. Now, legato and slurs for piano are pretty much the same thing. For other instruments, they're different. I won't get into I'm talking about wind instruments and so forth. They're different. I play clarinet and alto sax both, and so I get a lot of practice on wind instruments. But as far as legato and staccato, can it be both at the same time? Yes. Believe it or not, it can be. Yes. And that's where it gets fun. And that's the 3rd line here. 3rd line, where you have the curved line and the staccato notes, both. And that simply means to play them disconnected. It's half staccato and half legato. Half and half, hybrid. So instead of staccato is short, legato is connected. This both together would be disconnected. Right? That's half and half. So there you are. Yes, you can have legato and staccato at the same time. Sort of. What's your name? Well, it's an honest question. I'm old-fashioned and I'm concerned about identity theft and all that junk, so I haven't really published my name, although if you search around at the links on YouTube, whatnot, you'd find it eventually. My first name is Gale, spelled G-A-L-E, and so that's all I've cared to share at this point. I really don't see what the importance is on my name. A couple people have called me Alfred. I'm not Alfred. It's a different person. I am not in any way linked to any of these method books. Alright? I bought them just like you would buy them. I'm going through them. So, yeah. Should I play my piece slow like you do, or faster like what's on the CD? If I play it slowly, I can play it accurately. If I play it fast like the CD, I make mistakes. I'm a firm believer in accuracy first. Now, I could give a whole lesson on tempo and speed, because you need to play it at the speed it should go if you can play it accurately. But you don't go any faster than when you can accurately play. As you get better over time, you'll find that you can play it faster. You go back and try it again a year from now if you've stuck with piano all that time, and you would play it faster because you'll have gotten better. Yes, you should play it faster than I do. I'm playing them slow. But you shouldn't play it as fast as the CD just because that's the speed the CD went. That's wrong. Play it at your tempo. How fast do you think the piece should go? If you were going to hum or sing the piece, how fast would you take it? One day you might take it one speed, and another day you take it at a different speed. That's fine. But however fast you take it, you need to be accurate. So if you're missing notes, you don't know the piece yet. And that's my take on tempo in a brief take, just real short take. I have to read ahead of where I'm playing in order to play the note on time. And to that I say, yes, you certainly do. We all do. You will find in music, when you're reading and playing, that you're actually reading a few notes to a measure, maybe 2 measures, who knows, ahead of where you're actually playing, because it takes some time to process it in the old computer, and you're seeing these notes in the rhythm, okay, and then you're playing them. You see them and then play them. See, so you're always looking ahead of where you're playing. It takes some practice to learn to do that. So be patient with yourself, and in time, I think that will more or less develop on its own. I didn't try and make it happen. It just happened. And I think for most people, yeah, that's the way it is. You don't wait until you see the note to play it. That's too late. You have to know you're going to play it before you play it, which means you have to read it before you play it. Duh. So, yeah. What metronome do you use, and how do you use it? Well, I use the Cherub WMT220. Now, I put this information on the About page of my channel, and I'll try and remember to put it in the description of this video if you like it. I like the metronome. I have several different metronomes. I'm a big believer in metronome. The problem with metronome is you have to learn to use it. And as many years as I've had, I still struggle with it. If you were to actually watch all those scales, the scale videos I did, you would find several of them where I actually got off from the metronome. But I didn't realize it when I was playing it. But I'm so used to playing the scales faster than I was trying to slow down. But playing with a metronome is so important. If you ever plan on playing a duet or accompanying anybody or playing in an ensemble, you have to be able to hear what they're doing and read your music and play along and stay together all at the same time. Poof, right? Well, the skill needed to do that, and it is a skill, it takes practice, is the skill that you develop by using a metronome. Stay with the metronome. Are you listening to the metronome and still being able to concentrate on what you're doing in the music? Not that easy to do, so I would recommend use a metronome with the intention of practicing, preparing to play with other people later on. That's pretty much all the questions that I've had. If you did ask a question and I didn't answer it, I'm sorry. Please ask the question again, because it means I've lost it. Because I went through everything I had, everything I could find, and compiled them into a list, and I've tried to answer them in this video. Now for the dated information. It's finally cool enough that I can turn the air conditioning off here in the Phoenix area. It's only getting up into the 80s now. Finally. I'm going to start recording the books that I've purchased, and I do this like once a year or so. Last December and January I do a marathon recording sessions. I set the equipment up, which takes up about a third of my living room, and I leave it up, and then I just record every day for however much time I have to record for that day, for 4 to 6 weeks, however long it takes me to get through all the books. I have enough books selected right now for between 900 and 1,000 videos, and I intend to record them all, and then over the next 10, 11 months or so, I will be editing them and uploading them like I did this last year, till it gets too hot. You see, I can edit and upload when it's hot because the air conditioning can run. I just can't record anything with the air conditioning running because the background noise is a bit much. I tried it, it's a little distracting. So that's what I'm doing. If you have a book that you want to be sure to have me cover, please let me know, because I'm getting ready to record. And I can always include your book in addition to all these others that I've selected. Otherwise, it'll be another year. Which, not a bad idea, because if you're learning to play the piano, it's a slow process. A year is nothing, learning to play the piano. And that's all I had to say about that for now.